Hey you guys, Yulia here. So I just came back from the basement and I brought up all of my dormant amaryllis. And if you guys remember the video from back in September, that's when I dug up all of my amaryllis from the garden and I placed them in the basement for dormant period. And now they've gone through that dormant period. It's been almost 2 months and I'm ready to pot them up. And this process is very simple. All I do is remove the leaves. As you can see, all of the leaves completely dried. I am going to remove some of the root system, only the dried parts, and leave most of it. So let me just remove these leaves right here. Just use my hands. I have a garbage bag right here. These amaryllis right here that I'm holding is bestseller. The bulbs are huge. They bulked up so much over the summer. I'm so happy to see this. I actually had scissors somewhere here. Let me find them. Oh, there they are. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of the roots, but it's a beautiful root system. I don't want to damage it a lot. I don't want this plant to put too much energy into creating new root system, since this one is so beautiful. Okay. Let me clean all of them up. Again, just remove the leaves. Cut the root system a little bit. I am so impressed with these bulbs, you guys. Love it. Okay, so the next step is to pick your pots. You can pick whatever pot you like. It depends on how you would like to display them. I like to display my amaryllis in individual pots and also as an arrangement. I will post a video in the description down below from a couple of years ago where I made a beautiful arrangement with apple blossom amaryllis. That was one of my favorites. So the next step is fairly simple, is to fill your pots. And in this case, I have these beautiful Berg's pots. These are some of my most favorite pots in the world. They are pricey, but I have been building up my collection over a couple of years. So now I'm a proud owner of 3 Berg's pots. This Christmas, I'm getting myself another one. Okay, so I have my soil here. This is Bumper Crop organic soil mix, and I've had really good luck with it for my house plants, for my outdoor plants, for my raised beds. And what I'm going to do is just fill these pots with soil about halfway. And the reason is because they already have pretty decent root system. What I'm going to do is just place this bulb in the pot, and I'm going to bury this bulb only halfway. What's interesting about amaryllis, which is the Latin name is hippastrum, is they do not like to be soggy or wet. They don't like to be in too much water. So you really want to expose this bulb so you get some air circulation. And I'm going to fill this up with soil. Again, half of the bulb is exposed, the top one. The top half is exposed. Then after you fill the pot with soil, you can decorate this for now, maybe with some pebbles, some moss, maybe some pine cones, whatever, decorative surface of your choice. I'm going to leave them as is for now and then see what I can find later. Here is my Berg's pot with this beautiful amaryllis. Make sure you have the saucer and drainage in your pot because again, these bulbs do not like to be wet or soggy or overwatered. So I have the first 3 planted, and I would normally water this if the potting mix was dry, but I could see that this Bumper Crop potting mix is quite moist, so I'm not going to water these bulbs. And I think that's the biggest mistakes beginners make, is that they plant their amaryllis and they drown it in water right away. That way the bulb actually may rot, the roots will not develop very well. So if your potting mix is moist, do not water it. If it's super dry, just give it a little bit of water and leave it for maybe a week or until you see the new growth. Once you start to see that new growth or maybe some roots coming out from the bottom, then you can water it regularly, maybe once a week. Okay, so after you place your amaryllis in a warm and bright location, like I showed you just now, you can start watering it after you see some signs of growth. And from that point on, I usually water my amaryllis about once a week and just check the soil if it's not too dry or not too soggy. And the date on which your amaryllis will bloom really depends on when you start your amaryllis or when you plant your amaryllis and on the variety. So I have a number of varieties here and they bloom anywhere from Christmas time all the way until January. So what about the amaryllis that you buy in the store or maybe you order online? What do you do with those bulbs? So basically you treat them exactly the same, and as I'm planting the rest of my amaryllis, I will just talk about it. And I did order some more bulbs because I love them so much. I'm trying to grow my collection, and it's just such a wonderful flower to have in the middle of the winter when nothing is happening. So when you get your store-bought amaryllis, or maybe the ones that you order online, you follow the same process. You just plant it in the pot. Some people start them in water as well. I had better luck growing them in potting mix because they do get nutrients this way. In water, they only get water. So when your amaryllis will bloom, the store-bought ones, again, depends on the variety, and they usually will mention that in your online order. But also it depends on where it comes from. If your amaryllis comes from Southern Hemisphere, where summer is imminent, they will bloom much faster. They will bloom in about 6 weeks, so definitely before Christmas. If blooming amaryllis for Christmas is not your priority, which is not mine either, you can buy your amaryllis from a Northern Hemisphere, like Holland. Those will bloom in about 8 to 10 weeks. And I will go over all of the varieties that I ordered. And I do like more of like the wild looking amaryllis rather than the big red classic ones. So I've been trying a lot of the new varieties. So I pulled up my list here of all the amaryllis I ordered. And it's Magic Green, Mystica, Double Alaska, which is supposed to be super early amaryllis, and Double Giant Amadeus. I can't wait. So as I'm potting the rest of my amaryllis, I'm going to talk about what do you do after your amaryllis stops blooming, because people get really confused. The amaryllis calendar, and I will post a rough calendar of all of the important dates for growing your amaryllis down in the description. So after your amaryllis is done blooming, which is anywhere from December, January, or February, you can cut the flower stalk and place your amaryllis in a bright location. And then around May time or June time, depends on where you live, when the danger of frost has passed, you can place your amaryllis out in the garden in the pot. I actually over-summered my amaryllis in the pot, just like this. This is an exotic star, which is a gorgeous amaryllis. Or you can plant the bulb directly in the garden, which I really like to do because it helps to bulk them up a lot. And then your amaryllis lives in the garden for the entire summer. And around September time, or maybe end of August, again, depends on when you want to put your amaryllis into dormancy and how soon you want it to bloom in the winter, you bring them out and you put them in the basement, put them in a cool, dark, and most importantly, dry location. Do not water it, just stop watering it. This will trigger dormancy in your amaryllis. And after the dormancy is over, which is about 2 to 3 months, I usually do 2 months, here we are, back into taking your amaryllis out of dormancy. This is the step that I'm going over today. And that is pretty much the life cycle of amaryllis. All right, you guys, so I planted all of my amaryllis and I have 10 bulbs altogether, and I honestly thought I had more, which means I probably need to buy more because I love them so much. So I have been reblooming my amaryllis and taking care of them through this life cycle for a number of years now, because they can get really expensive when you buy them for the very first time. So it's definitely advantageous for us to keep the ones that we have and have them rebloom every year. And most of my amaryllis rebloom with great success, but some of them sometimes take a year off and they either bloom very little or they don't bloom at all, which is totally normal. Some plants just need to take some rest for the year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following up with this project. I wish you good luck with your amaryllis, and I hope you learned something new in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.